Okay, so let's take a look at this model of the human kidney here. Now this is a frontal or coronal section through the kidney, and you can see up here this is a cut surface of the adrenal gland, so we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to worry about this kidney model, which wants to pivot on me. Okay, so now kidney is roughly divided into two major sections. We have the section that's in charge of making urine. We have the section that is in charge of being the plumbing and conducting urine out of the kidney down the ureter so that it can be stored in the bladder. So let's take a look at the picture or the parts of the kidney that we looked at on the blackboard presentation. So I'm going to get a little closer here for you, and I'm going to rotate just a minute. And the first thing you're going to see is there's this outer ring of tissue here going all the way around the kidney. Okay, going to rotate slowly again, try not to make anyone nauseous. That outer ring of tissue right here is referred to as the renal cortex, okay, which means that all the solid tissue that is deep to that is going to be referred to as the renal medulla. Okay. Now the renal medulla is composed of several different parts because, you know, hey, anatomy, right? You know, it's never as simple as it seems. If we start by taking a look at this pyramidal, that's what we call a 3D triangle, right? A pyramid. This pyramidal area over here, this is referred to as a renal pyramid. So if you want to give it its full name, it would be the renal pyramid of the renal medulla. And this renal pyramid has got a light-colored area at the apex here of it, the little tippy tip, which is referred to as the renal pyramid. So we've got the renal pyramid is this whole thing. The tippy tip is referred to as the renal papilla. Sorry, I've been doing videos all day. All right, so one more time. We've got the renal pyramid topped by the renal papilla. Now these structures are separated from each other by this lighter material, which is coming down from the cortex, referred to as the renal columns. So we've got the renal pyramid of the renal medulla. We've got the renal columns of the renal medulla. We've got the renal papilla of the renal medulla. Okay? And altogether, these make the renal medulla. And those little triads of tissue are repeated all through the kidney. So we have a renal pyramid, renal column, another renal pyramid, another renal column, another renal pyramid, another renal column, basically all the way around the kidney. These structures, the cortex, the renal pyramid, the columns, and the papilla are all in charge of making and then collecting that urine. Now, when you talk about the plumbing system of the kidneys, we're talking about starting with structures called calyces. So we have small calyces, C-A-L-Y-X, calyx, calyces, here, 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 and here. These are small, so they're referred to as minor calyces. Minor calyces collect urine, and they channel them into larger collection areas called major calyxes. So we have a major calyx here, a major calyx here, a major calyx here. Most kidneys have at least 2 to 3 of them. Now, all those major calyces are going to channel urine into a big collecting area in the middle, which is referred to as the renal pelvis, okay? And now in true anatomy fashion, the space inside the renal pelvis is going to be referred to as the renal sinus. Remember, sinus is a fancy word for space. So the renal sinus is the space inside the renal pelvis, okay? And then the renal pelvis is going to conduct urine out of the kidney into the ureter, okay? So there you have the inner workings of the human kidney. Now, just to kind of give you an overview of the kidney, which maybe I should have done at the beginning, but you guys know this, right? here's our kidney, right? The medial area is referred to as the hilum. That's the area where all the important structures come out, such as our ureter. But we also have our renal artery going into the kidney and our renal vein bringing back blood out of the kidney on its way back to the inferior vena cava there. All right, and those are your major parts of the kidney.